Welcome to...
We're Not Afraid of the Dark.
My name is Ben. I'm here with my brother, Adam.
Ben, we're at the second to last episode of Season 1, and I consider this like 3 of the best of this season, along with Laughing in the Dark. Before this, we had Tale of the Dark Music. We got the Prom Queen this week, and then next week is Pinball Wizard.
See, Pinball Wizard is definitely one of the ones that I like. Whenever you ask me, name the most memorable ones, Pinball was the best.
Oh, we're having a lot of fun with that one. And at the end of every season that we do, we're going to do something special. I have the Are You Afraid of the Dark board game. So we're going to get a group of people who just play that game. I've never played it. I didn't know it existed until I found out a Salvation Army a few years ago.
Well, no. We had that back in the day, but...
I don't remember playing it.
I think we lost pieces to it, to be honest.
I also had the Goosebumps board game, sealed in my assignment booth. I don't want to bring that out. I love the book series Goosebumps, but that TV show was a piece of shit. Other than the Night of the Living Dummy episode.
Something we agree on.
Yeah. Plus, by the time Goosebumps TV show came out, I was in puberty, so that shit wasn't exactly scary. But I was reading the books when I was 11, 12. Oh, another key thing, Ben.
If you're going to say R.L. Stine was the guy with the briefcase, I already know.
I didn't know that. I catch up by IMDb trivia. So I had to create, of course, the graphic that's the cover art for the podcast.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I know Photoshop, so I was trying to edit just a screen capture. That wasn't looking too well. So I had to find the font that Are You Afraid of the Dark used. And have you seen this font before?
No.
It's called ITC Benguiat, Benguiat. And according to Wikipedia, it was used on a lot of Stephen King novels in the 80s.
Oh.
I think it used that. It's also used on some band albums and some of the Star Trek, but that shows Stranger Things. You seen that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I think it's the same font.
Have you watched it?
No, I've heard I need to check it out because there's this whole 1980s
oh yeah
anthology.
It's so good. You got to watch it.
Do we need to do a podcast on it?
I think we've got our hands full with this.
Yeah, me and Ben just have a conversation. Oh, we mentioned other shows we should do. The Adventures of Pete and Pete. And those guys actually have their own podcast now. 2 guys that played Pete and Pete.
Yes, I want. Oh, who's the younger Pete? What's his real name?
It's Danny. God, I pronounce his last name.
Well, if he listens to this, I will pay for you to get Petunia permanently put on your arm. I will pay money. You just have to give up the meat.
We'll make that happen. We'll make a whole blog about that and get some good publicity. So here we are at the tale of the prom queen. And this story seems to be based on that popular urban legend. It seems like every town has this. There was a girl who died many years ago. People see her on the street, still waiting for someone to pick her up.
Well, ours is in the next town with the bridge. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
The bridge in Marion in the back roads.
Oh, the Crybaby Bridge.
Yes.
Now I know what you're talking about. That was the story. That was real life. And just a shameless plug, I am working on a series called Tales of Somerset. It's based out of Somerset County, Maryland, which is where me and Ben live. It's been inhabited for centuries, and there's a lot of creepy stories in this area. So I was trying to turn it into a documentary series, but because of budget reasons, it's going to be a podcast from now on. But I'm going to cover that episode. That was based on a real story of a carriage going in the water and a child dying, and people say they hear the screams of a child now.
They don't. It's fake.
That's rough interpretation.
It's fake.
Yeah, we didn't have any famous prom queen story, but I have heard this story in other horror anthologies or just passing by. Do you remember this growing up? This episode?
I don't, but it's pretty. It's not a bad story, but it's pretty predictable.
I will give it that. I liked it, actually.
Okay.
I remember liking it growing up, and like it is a cool story.
Right.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen at certain elements, but I do remember like being a little creeped out, especially in the canoe scene later on, or the kayak scene. That was kind of creepy.
Yeah. But I mean, as soon as they told the story, like 5 minutes in, you already know what's happening.
The story starts out for what appears to be the ghost of a maiden in a white gown that slowly walks to the forest. The Midnight Society is a little creeped out. Then it turns out to be Kristen.
She's lit again too.
Somebody needs to get that girl a watch or something. Calendar. These Midnight Society meetings have to be happening at midnight, right?
Right. Not 11:15.
Yeah. Well, this show came on 9:30 after Ren and Stimpy. So were they starting the story at 9:30, and then it took like 2.5 hours to get a story done? So they stop at midnight?
I'm pretty sure I've already said this, but those two time slots should have been switched.
Oh, Ren and Stimpy in this.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Well, Eric cries that she's always late. So yeah, that is part of her personality in this show.
Right.
It tells Frank not to be surprised.
Was she wearing the locket he got her?
I don't know if I ever see that again.
Yeah. No, because she's gonna break his little heart.
The story begins with two guys named Greg and Jam. You go to a local graveyard to find the ghost of a girl who died in a hit-and-run car accident in May of 1956 while waiting for her boyfriend to pick her up on prom night. Now, Ben, who the hell waits at a fucking graveyard to have the prom date pick them up? What are these people into?
I don't know. Hey, and when you know it, they found a woman in a graveyard. What a big surprise. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, you remember her name?
Dee Dee.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Well, they recruit her to go on their mission. So they go to a library that has a microfilm reader. Do you remember these things, Ben?
Yes.
Yeah, libraries still have them. I've also seen them at some universities for like really, really old stuff that hasn't been completely digitized. It's about the only way you're going to find old newspapers unless somebody got a grant to put old newspapers online now.
I'll tell you the bottom of this. Pretty strong.
Yeah.
Oh, now you want some. You can have some fruit out of it too if you want. Because I'm a good brother.
While they're doing their research, they find an article about the details of the girl's death. Her name was Judy Larson, and her boyfriend's name was Ricky. But he didn't know he was supposed to pick her up. So what were their prom date arrangements?
Yeah, I don't know. If she didn't have a car, she can't meet him there.
Yeah, and I hate to go all gender stereotype. And I don't know the whole thing, but did a lot of like teenage females drive in the 50s? I never see any of them drive in like TV shows or movies. Like, let's take this. Back to the Future. Okay, it takes place about half the movie in the 1950s, right? Do you ever see a female driving in that movie? Well, while they're at the library, they have a creepy intruder who turns out to be the librarian, offered them some tea.
We're in Britain now.
Yeah.
We're in Britain now.
Well, the funny thing is, I remember as a kid, like, mom watching this episode with me, like, she was like, what librarian offers some tea?
Yeah, and why are they freaking out?
I mean, hell, these libraries now don't want you walking off a damn bottle of water because they're afraid to go drop it on something.
They won't even let you go in there unless you got a library card.
That's because of the damn homeless people. They use that place as a shelter for the most of the day.
Nowadays, it's, prison is what they use.
The next night, the trio decides to have a seance at the lake to contact Ricky's ghost to let him know that it was supposed to pick her up and that Judy is still waiting for him. So multiple people have seen this ghost before, right?
I mean, that's how they say it.
And it seems like most of the time in movies and TV shows, when someone tries to have a seance, they usually contact an expert, like a mediator or a psychic. They're just like, hey, let's just go.
Yeah, let's wing it.
Yeah, let's go rent a kayak for like $10 an hour, and then just go on the lake late at night. That's all conveniently let up because we know that's realistic.
Don't we need a medium or something?
No, I think we just have to concentrate. Let's hold hands.
But the seance is successful because they start having the boat shake. A lot of creepy things happen.
Hold on. Now, if the car was underwater, The car was underwater. Okay, so bubbles start coming up. I get that. Where are the headlights at? If you would have put headlights under there, it would have made it so much, like more believable. Other than like this central thing of bubbles. Like, okay, did they only had one exhaust in the 50s, or did they have two?
Do you know if in the article do they mention what happened after they realized that his car went off the bridge? Because usually, I mean, they'll do a salvage and try to go find it and find the body and stuff.
They said they couldn't find it.
Okay, so it's missing, but apparently it's like right there where it happened, right?
Right, of course.
Yeah, it seemed a little odd. However, I do remember being a little creeped out by that scene. The next night, they go to the cemetery to see if Judy and Ricky will be finally reunited because they're so successful in that prior, right?
Of course. I mean,
well, they told him that she's waiting for him.
Dee Dee was very, very good at her seancing. I don't know why she didn't do it sooner.
Another good point.
Well, then again, I know why. As soon as I said it, she couldn't leave the graveyard.
Well, thanks for going away the ending.
Oh, we're right there. We're right there.
But wait, if she couldn't leave the graveyard, how she end up at the library?
Because she was invited by them.
Should she has to be invited places?
Yes, they had to take her. She said it in the show.
Okay, thanks for reminding me of that.
Yes.
However, we're going to see another ghost prior to this because we got the creepy person wearing the white garment with wind chimes
and the night vision goggles that light up.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. That would be a good prank on somebody. I mean, imagine if you saw that at like a real cemetery, just driving down the street. What would you do?
I mean, if I'm driving by a cemetery, I'm not truly going to be concerned with what's going on in the cemetery.
But I mean, if it's very apparent somebody walk around with like a white robe on with wind chimes.
Well, then they've got more.
And a lantern, I think.
Yeah, they got bigger problems than I do.
Yeah, it's looking for a nice place to sleep. And what turns out that person is just a young man disguised in a white robe. It's like it's Greg's cousin or something, or little brother is trying to play a prank on him.
Well, if I was Judy the ghost, I would be highly offended that they would poke fun at that.
Yeah, it's Jam's cousin Chuck is playing a prank on him. But then after that, church bells go off, and there's a vehicle approaching.
Hold on. What do church bells have to do with prom?
Maybe prom's taking place at a church.
Well, I mean, not getting very far there.
Well, Greg thinks it's the caretaker, but then they realize that it's an old 1950 Chevy glowing in the moonlight with a driver sporting an old-fashioned haircut. And it's Ricky. They freak out, but Dee Dee stays still.
Ricky looked really good for someone that was dead for like 40 years.
They can't figure out why Dee Dee is not freaking out and is about to approach the vehicle. Then she takes her ponytail out and changes into prom attire.
Yep, takes her windbreaker off. Her starter.
Hey, that was a regular 90s.
Her starter jacket.
Yeah, her was making a comeback.
Well, good luck. Good luck, starter.
I just remember getting ones for teams I don't know anything about because I hate sports.
I had one too. I had a Raiders one, but I only like the Raiders because their logo.
Yeah, I like the color schemes of some of these people.
But nowadays, let's not even get into this whole NFL shit right now because of all that bullshit that's going on.
I hate football when people are just like posting, "Oh yeah, our touchdown,"
oh,
or
yeah.
a commercial. I just don't want to fucking see any of this. I have more important shit to worry about, like making podcasts. The shows have been off the air for 20 years.
Right.
Well, as you were saying, Dee Dee then explains that she couldn't leave the cemetery unless someone took her with them, and with their help, she finally found out why Ricky never showed up and got the message to pick her up. She still explains that Dee Dee is her nickname, but her real name is Judy Larson, revealing that was her the whole time. So you did see this coming?
Yeah. Dude, as soon as the episode started, and they said, a girl was waiting at the cemetery for her boyfriend to pick her up. Like, it's clearly the girl that was putting flowers on her own grave. How self-centered can you be to put flowers on your own grave. Where'd she get the flowers? She pick them at the graveyard?
Kristen does state that there were wildflowers, and it's never apparent that was her grave. The only thing in the beginning. I didn't see this coming when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, as a kid, our attention spans were like nil.
I actually think they were greater back then because we have so many fucking distractions, like all these Facebook posts and like constant entertainment. But back then, we like needed to be told things, so we were actually listening to the story rather than trying to second guess things.
Yeah.
Did you recognize any actors in this?
In this one?
Yeah, I looked up. Katie
No.
Griffin plays Dee Dee.
Has she gotten naked on film?
I don't know, but she's hot.
Oh my.
Yeah, she's looking good. She had a role on Inspector Gadget,
Oh,
a new TV show, and a Cirque du Soleil, and a show called Wishing Proof.
So Inspector Gadget is her like top credit, huh?
I'm gonna consider All You're Afraid of the Dark, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, clearly.
Yeah, she's in mid-40s by now.
That's fine.
Yeah, almost.
Oh my.
Oh Jesus.
You want some of this fruit?
No.
Are you sure? Moonshine. Have one.
The famous folklore story is supposed to be outside of Resurrection Cemetery outside of Chicago and the legend of Resurrection Mary. I do remember like a Unsolved Mysteries episode about that.
What?
They interviewed the guy who it happened to. He died in the early 80s, but they got an interview with him. Said it really happened. So Ben, scary or not?
Not.
As a kid, yes.
Well, yeah. As a kid, maybe.
I thought it was entertaining as an adult.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, me either. I hated Hungry Hounds way worse.
Yeah, Hungry Hounds and the Leprechaun episode are the bottom of the two for me in season 1. Next week, we're going to talk about the episode that I absolutely think should have been Are You Afraid of the Dark, their feature-length movie.
The Wizard.
Pinball was it?
Yeah.
Like as a kid, like today. So we're going to rip on it a little bit. However,
Aged well.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to listen to our podcast, be sure to subscribe. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube under Modulation Studios. It's produced by my company, Modulation Studios. And you can reach us at modulationstudios@gmail.com. Yeah, I said it all 3 times.
That was smooth.